This is the President McCormack Podcast with your host, Mark McCormack.
All right, Will, welcome to the President McCormack Podcast.
Thank you.
We've been talking for 20 minutes in here anyways. So, so today, man, give us a little introduction to yourself so the viewers kind of know what's up.
Sweet. So I'm Will. I've known Mark for how long have we known each other?
Probably a little over a year.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Met each other doing another deal.
Yeah.
Trying to run around Vegas. Do a couple things. Been in the business world for a while. Right now, the CEO of DYLN. So we make water bottles, trying to hydrate the world, compete with Yeti and Hydro Flask.
Yeah.
And live in Puerto Rico. That's probably the highlight of my life right now. Live on the beach, surf, never put a shirt on, and don't pay taxes. So
Nice.
that's me in a short run.
You are living the life. So tell me about, let's talk about your education. Where'd you go to school?
Cool. So my dad's in the military, so I moved every 2 years. So the whole time I was growing up, every 2 years we moved, lived all over the country, ended up at BYU. So kind of a crazy story. I played basketball, football in high school, wanted to play at the Y, and then graduated, wasn't good enough, was like 6'4", but 175 pounds. Went to walk on, went to BYU, walked on, didn't make the basketball team, but then ended up playing rugby there. So went to
nice.
BYU, and played rugby there for 4 years, won 4 national championships.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
There you go. That's really cool.
That was fun.
Yeah, I did a 2 month stint on the Highland rugby
Did you
team
really?
right after high school. Yeah, right before I went on a mission.
That's where all the boys come from.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, I was not starting. I want to make that very clear. They allowed me to be on the team for 2 months.
Yeah, but when you're 6'7" or whatever, they'll take you.
Yeah, I was pretty quick back then, so it was a lot of fun.
What did you play?
I was in the middle of the scrum, and then I was always like in the middle of the field. I can never remember what they call them anymore.
A prop, probably?
Yeah.
Or a hooker?
A prop. I think it was a prop.
Prop?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Honestly, I was trying to learn the rules, and I'd played my senior year of football a couple months prior, and then I had a friend named Aaron Hooper, and he was all about playing up there, and so we literally would just leave school, and because I think the season started like in May, if I remember right. Something weird
I don't know
like
when
that.
the high school season starts.
Yeah.
But that's like me. I had never touched a rugby ball until I went to the tryout.
Yeah.
So here's the story. I'll tell you the story.
Yeah.
So I was there. I was like pissed I didn't make the basketball team because you think you're going to be good. Then you go try to play intramurals and you're like, I don't want to be an intramural guy.
Yeah.
So my roommate was a Polynesian guy. He had played. We were sitting in poli-sci, not paying attention, and there was a flyer underneath the seat that said, open tryouts for the rugby team. He's like, hey, come with me. I'd never seen rugby, never touched a ball, so I told him no. Finally, over the next day, he convinced me to go, and we went, did 3 days of tryouts. Little awkward. I made it. He did not. And then that became the next 4 years of my life is playing rugby. I still don't know all the rules. Like, I was playing my senior year, and my parents would be like, when this happens, what is this? And when they blow the whistle, it's like, listen, I don't know still. I just do my thing. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do, and I do that. But it worked out.
Yeah.
It was a fun sport.
Yeah, absolutely. So the rules that you play were the union or the league?
See? Yep.
You don't know? Yeah.
One of those two.
I can't remember either.
I don't know. I remember guys like, it's always funny because I have become more of a rugby fan now, especially with like sevens in the Olympics.
Yeah.
But I still don't know all the.
So who's your rugby team you like to watch?
The sevens, the U.S. sevens team is probably the only team I actually watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So when I went on my mission, one of my friends there was a huge Scotland.
Oh, nice.
So the Scotland team, they're I really don't know actually. I mean they're pretty good. The English team's really good. I think
pretty good.
the Roses, how they call themselves. Something like that.
Sure.
But then the All Blacks, the New Zealand All Blacks were like huge. And so like we would go buy All Black jerseys and like, wear them on our missions, like on P-Day, and all that kind of stuff. And so, but I mean, we played a lot of soccer, or footy or football or whatever. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So have you watched the Netflix special on the All Blacks?
No.
Did you ever watch Hard Knocks for the NFL?
No.
Oh, okay. So like they did want
Is it like that?
It's
I know
exactly
what Hard
like
Knocks
that.
is, though.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. But it's like they did the All Blacks. So it's super interesting, man, because those guys, I mean, they're tough.
Yeah, they're killers, man.
I would probably venture that the rugby players are the toughest dudes on the planet.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah, and they're they have no ears,
Nothing.
no cheekbones.
My senior year, my left ear was all puffed, so should be cauliflower ear, but I wore this. What did they do? So they took like foam, made a cast in my ear, hardened it, And then every 2 weeks, I had to go get it replaced and stitched through so that I didn't have cauliflower today.
That was a good idea.
My senior year, I went from, freshman through junior year, I was skinny but fast. And so I played on the outside. I was wing and fullback. And then my senior year, like, hey, you have a better shot at being an All-American if you switch to play lock. And I'm 6'5", so I was like, all right, I'll switch. Put on 35 pounds, switched. But then I hated the scrum. Like, I was in the back, right? So my head is in between two big old props' legs, and I just crushed and smashed. And so I have pictures of just these stitches, and you can't numb your ear. And so every 2 weeks I'd go in, they'd drain it, and then they'd put it back in the whole season. It was really
gosh.
Fun. But now my ear's still pretty. So,
yeah, you look good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I remember. So we practiced for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks before we even had a scrimmage or whatever. And our first scrimmage was the University of Utah, like their freaking A team. And honestly, they crushed them.
Yeah, no,
Highland crushed them.
Yeah, Highland's legit.
And I remember thinking, I was like, 18, almost 19. I turned 19 a couple months later, right? And I was just like, this is insane. Like, these kids are like so freaking good.
Yeah, really good.
And they were, they'd bring, we had a guy from like, I don't know, a couple guys from Africa, a couple guys from New Zealand, a couple guys from Australia on the team. They just came to America to go to school just to play rugby for Highland. That was
like our whole team. Like, we had, when I was there, our starting hooker, 9'10", and one of our wings was all from Highland, and I'm sure we had other guys, but they were from South Africa, New Zealand, and they just brought them all over.
Nice.
Highland was legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of our guys played with Highland, and then United in Salt Lake kind of took off later.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like 10 years younger than you. So probably 8 years after you left.
Yeah. Well, their coach had like retired at some point, right?
I think so.
And he was there for like ever.
Time. Larry Gelwicks, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had an awesome.
Interesting dude. He was tiny.
Yeah. I've actually met him a couple times. Okay. What's the movie? There's the movie about rugby.
Yeah.
That a lot of their players were in. A lot of our guys were extras in. I can't remember what it was. Forever Strong.
Forever Strong?
Forever Strong.
Nice, yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. Highland was legit. Yeah, all of our guys came from there. They were good.
Yeah.
But the college layout of rugby is also not great, especially back then. Like, there's better teams now, but even when I was playing, there was probably 10 teams nationwide who were really good, and then the drop off from the top 10 to the next 50 was pretty steep.
Yeah, pretty bad. Yeah, my little brother Kevin used to play at Lone Peak, and it was all club. Yeah, and then I don't know if he never went to college or anything like that, but interesting.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. That was kind of defining moment, though, of my life, is you go from trying to play basketball, never playing rugby, kind of hating being in school, and then you survive school to play rugby.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Exactly. Do you still have some friends from the rugby team?
Yeah, still have a ton. Actually, like a guy we know together, Austin Allred, we met playing rugby.
Oh, did Austin play?
Yeah, Austin played for 2 years.
Oh, heaven's sakes. I didn't know that.
We played together.
Good for him.
And then it's interesting. I would say all of my really, really good friends from college all are from that team.
From my team, yeah.
Yeah, like I can't even think of anybody that comes to mind today that I still talk to that's not
on the rugby team.
We didn't play together.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to talk to Austin about that.
Yeah, he played. Yeah, he was good. He was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. How tall is Austin?
Austin's probably 6'1", maybe.
Yeah, he's a little bit shorter than you.
Yeah.
Or us. So
both. Yeah,
we're both up there.
I'm a little bit shorter than you, and he's a little bit shorter than me. Yeah, he's like 6'1", 6'2".
Awesome, cool. So what did you end up studying in college? Exercise
and wellness.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was trying to get into business school, and then when you get C's and D's on the pre-business school classes, they don't let you in. So then I switched and did exercise and wellness.
Yeah, nice. So going back to college, do you think it was worth it?
So I went to college. I also have an MBA, and I would say it depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
When I was in college, so let's talk college first. Playing rugby is why I went to school. My wife was also a diver, so she was on the swim and dive team.
Oh, cool.
Had a scholarship. And so I would say both of us went to play sports. The network that I made there, mostly from the rugby team, I still have done business with. Yeah. Austin and I have done stuff together. I've done stuff with other guys. That helped, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I was always a little bit of a black sheep. So my dad he's been in the Army his entire life. He's currently a general, And that way, at least of how they were raised, is go to school, get a degree, find a path, and go through that path.
Yeah.
Well, I went to school, and you want to do business, you want to do something, but I had no idea what that even meant, what it looked like. I didn't have enough experience.
Yeah.
And so I think it was good for me because I didn't know. Then I went and got a master's purely because I could, and it was done.
Where'd you get the master's at?
Southern Utah University.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you were down there.
Yeah, I was down there. I was living there. So I think it just depends on what you want to do. For me, if I could go back, I wouldn't go. And I would just start diving in, build my network, figure out what I want to do. Because I still don't know what I want to do. Like, even in my professional career, it's kind of adjusted and changed and found opportunities. So for me, I don't know. I don't think so.
See, there's kind of a theme. So my brother, I had him on the podcast a little while ago, and he likes to bust my balls on going to college, right? Because I have a degree.
Yeah.
But I graduated school with no debt. So I'm one of those guys. But at the same time, I look back at that, I'm like, dude, 4 years, man, it's a
long time.
It's a long time to not be making money.
Yeah.
I worked full time because I was married, and I actually switched freaking majors, so I have had 180 credits when I graduated, or something dumb. And I look back and I'm like, dude, like this is really expensive for some people. Yeah. And the longer I've been out of school, I look at certain people and I'm like, my gosh, dude, you are in like insane debt.
Yeah.
And I also, when I took my parents' company over, I actually got into law school and I was going to go, and my dad sat me down and said, hey, do you want to help me run the family business? And
that's cool.
I was actually really excited to go to school because I love school, but at the same time, I was like, man, attorneys just don't make that much, and you're freaking just chained to this law firm, and you're in that life, and I just kind of knew in my gut, not that I was wise or anything, but I kind of had in my gut that I was just like, I don't know if I want to be a 70-hour-a-week dude. Yeah. Not that I haven't done that, but then I looked at it.
Have a payoff that's better.
Exactly. And, and I looked at, so one of the things I told my dad, it's like, hey, I'll come work for you, but you're going to pay for me to get my executive MBA. Well, by the time that rolled around, the time to do that, right, I was getting like performance bonuses based off of profitability in the company. And if we had an expense like $80,000 for me to be, that's just money out of my pocket is how I looked at it. And I'm just like, then I would talk to people who got MBAs and I'm just like, you don't know that much, and like, especially executive guys, because they, most of their knowledge, it came from working. Yep. And really all executive MBA was just networking, the whole thing. And so, I don't know. I mean, I think it's good for people, certain people to go to college. I think the college experience is fun, and could be, not, like meeting all your friends from the rugby team, and even playing rugby to begin with. Like that whole thing's awesome. Yep. And it's like, I don't know, it's just interesting paths and stuff. But you take 7 years to get a 4-year degree nowadays, and you've got $80,000, $90,000 worth of debt, and then you go into these beginner positions in these corporations. It's like you just burned a lot of time.
Yeah, and you're going to make, 60, 65 grand coming out in those positions? Is it really worth it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I like the network piece because the rugby network has been helpful, but the network that I've built over the last 6 years actually working and building and being in the game is significantly more than sitting in 4 years. And so I think if you're really young, if you're 18, 19, and you have no idea what you want to do, maybe go the college route. Try it out, take it. But especially as you get older, it just makes less and less sense to go figure it out.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. I almost think you're 18, you want to go to college, go knock out a associate's degree, an applied associate, like a finance level, 2 years, and then go work. Go work for 3 or 4 years. Find a mentor. I'm real big on finding a mentor.
Yes.
Mostly because, and I've mentored a lot of people, and like when you get someone that wants to be mentored by you and like you can tell they're hungry and they're so green, it's like mentors want to mentor you. Yeah. So if you find the right guy or girl, it's like a perfect marriage, and then you can sit down and, even with me, if I had someone that wanted, currently want to be mentored by me, it's like, hey, come up to my office. I got 2 CPAs that work here, go sit with him for freaking 3 weeks, whatever, Yeah. It's like the perfect situation.
And you'll learn more in that than in probably 2 semesters of doing anything in school. Probably 3 years of sitting in accounting classes.
Yeah, accounting. Until you actually do it and it matters and you have someone look at your work and go, what the hell is this?
That doesn't work. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's when you actually start learning accounting, Yeah. And so, but no, yeah, absolutely. So what was your first job outside of college then?
So my wife's family runs treatment centers for youth. And so I was finishing up playing. I knew I wasn't going to play anymore, and I didn't really know what I was going to do. Like, there's not a lot of jobs outside for exercise science and exercise wellness. And I just want to keep going. And I knew I didn't want to keep going. And it was entrepreneurial. They ran their own business. I'll go work for him. So I went and worked for him for a couple of years. So we helped kids that were pretty much one step away from should have been in jail. So coming out of Compton, LA, wannabe gangbangers guys.
Were they here in Utah?
It was, yeah. It was in southern Utah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I worked for him for a couple of years and then left that because I knew I wanted to do my own thing. Yeah. And so left and then I started my MBA when I was there. So it was kind of a similar situation to you, like with your dad. It was like, hey, if I'm going to stay here, I want to move up. Let's get my MBA done. That'll look good on all the things. And I'll learn some stuff. So I started doing it online. And then I decided we're going to leave. I'm going to go do my own thing. I don't know what that is yet, but I don't want to do this for the next 50 years. Yeah. And even if the track is good, it's like, all right, I can work 50, 60 hours a week. I can make good money. I can have a nice house. But this is literally what I'm going to do for the next 60 years of my life.
Yeah.
And there's a cap, and I'm going to reach that cap in like 2 years.
Yeah.
I had no interest.
Yeah.
So we left, and then we moved to Cedar. I finished my MBA, and then I bought a gym. And that was when the whole journey really started. That's when I bought a gym.
So tell me about buying a gym. What kind of gym did you buy?
So we bought a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
I walked in. So we moved to Cedar. We did it all in like a week. My wife was 8 months pregnant. We decided we were going to leave. We sold our house, bought a budget truck, and left all in. It was like 14 days.
Yeah.
Sold our house, bought a house, moved. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I figured I'll finish my MBA. I got like 10 months left. I'll take that time to figure it out. So we looked at, are we going to flip houses? Should I get into real estate? Should I buy a business? What should I do? And I walked in to join the gym. We'd got into CrossFit after college because you lift your whole life playing rugby and diving, and it's like, let's get in. So I went in to join it. I hated it. I was like, I don't like the gym. I don't like the vibe. I didn't like the guy that was working at the front desk. So I walked out, didn't join, came back like 2 weeks later, and the guy at the front desk was like, yeah, I mean, I guess you could join, but the guy's actually trying to sell it. Oh, sweet. Well, let me have his number. So I called him. He was in Africa because they were trying to move to Africa, go on missions and move, kind of do a evangelical fitness mission over in Africa, which is really cool. But he needed to sell his gym first.
How old was the guy?
He's probably 45.
Okay.
Yeah. He had started the gym. He was one of the first CrossFit gyms actually in Utah. Yeah. Probably first 5 that kind of affiliated and came in. But anyways, from walking in to join the gym and moving to Cedar, 2 months later, I owned the gym. Yeah. So we seller financed a bunch of it and thought it was awesome and went all in on being CrossFit gym owners for a while. Which, if you love fitness, I'm telling anyone listening to this, if you love fitness, great. But if you want to make money, the gym business is probably not where to go.
I've heard that.
Yeah. Don't dive in. It was fun. We did it. I would say for the first year and a half, it was really fun. Like we were all in, super passionate. We tripled the gym membership. We tripled the money. We actually started making money. Yeah. And we loved it. And then I realized about a year and a half in, I'm going to have to own like 10 of these. Yeah. If I really want to make any amount of money that provides freedom, lifestyle, and the things that I wanted. Yeah. So I went down that path. So I bought another one in St. George, partnered with a guy from the rugby team. Mm-hmm. He came in and we bought that one together and ran that. So did that. But about 6 months into that, just realizing the vehicle that you're in matters, Yeah. And I think understanding where do you want to be, what does your life look like, how much money do you want to make, what is that? As you start to define that and get a little bit older and experienced, that was what started happening. And realizing just because I'm passionate about this, just because we can make money, just because we can have a level of success in this, the vehicle was not the thing for me.
You're just limited, right?
Yeah, the overhead was super high. You've got to have big buildings. You got to have people to run it. You got to have qualified people to run it. Yeah. And the margins were just not awesome.
Yeah. Did you run the daycare and stuff in there?
We did a little bit, yeah. So in one of them we ran a daycare where we actually had people like watching the kids. In the other one, we just had a room where they could go kind of put their kids in. Right. They didn't run out and get hit by weights.
One-way lock, right?
Yeah. With the little gate. Try to padlock it on this side. Yeah.
Well, that's sweet. So what did it feel like to buy the business? Were you excited?
Yeah, it was awesome. It felt good. It's just, I think, knowing that you can make something happen completely on your own. Yeah. And that was the experience of that entire thing was awesome.
Did you ever have an overwhelming moment?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. There's a good story, I think, that so we'd been in like 2 years. I needed to grow the building. So the landlord of the building that we were renting from came and said, hey, he was a member of the gym as well, awesome guy. Said, hey, you're outgrowing this. I don't really want you here. I can get double or triple the rent from someone else. And I don't really want a CrossFit gym in this space because it was right downtown, right by the university.
Yeah.
It's like I want to get something else in here. So we started looking, but in Cedar City, there's not a lot of 5,000 to 8,000 square foot just space. There was no warehouse. So we were like, all right, do we build our own warehouse? But we were right in the middle of downtown. We kind of liked being there. We had a bunch of university students. Where can we go? So I bought a old movie theater. And it was right. If you ever go to Cedar City, if you drive Main Street, it's still on this building to this day. It's the big matinee, still says Cedar Theater, still has like the old school, put the letters up of what the
movie is.
What the movie is at the times. But that almost crushed me because I didn't have enough money to put the down payment down. So I knew we had to be out. I knew we had to remodel it. I had no idea how to get a loan. And so I worked with a real estate agent. We needed $85,000 to put down on the down payment. So we did an SBA loan, got it all approved. I went to a buddy of mine and said, hey, can you partner with me on this? It's like, yeah, I can do it. He had the money. So we were kind of talking of he was going to finance the whole down payment. I was going to put in maybe like $10,000. So we were all in. 2 weeks before that, he calls and says, hey, man, I think I can do 45. But like I just got a lot going on, so you got to come up with the other 30. I didn't have it. So I had 2 weeks, and the whole thing was going to die. Yeah. The gym would die. The lease was up. We had to move out. So I had 2 weeks to come up with $35,000. Went a week. Didn't sleep. Didn't have it. Couldn't have it. A week before we signed, I got the $35K and we signed on it.
Where'd you get it from?
So there was a summer sales company that a buddy of mine had worked for, and I think it was 4 days before we were supposed to sign on the loan. He came in. His manager, boss, or whatever it was also in town. Yeah. And they're like, all right, you need the money. What do you want to do? I'll go sell. I'll sell for you guys in the summers. You give me the money for the down payment right now. Nice. 3 days later, they wired the money. I closed the loan, and I spent the next 2 summers knocking doors I made money, but also get that deal done. Yeah. So. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, but 3 days before it was all about to blow up. Yeah. That all happened. So took it to the wire. No, that's sweet. I have a pet peeve in the business world, and that is when people say, oh, yeah, you use other people's money to do stuff. That is way harder than people understand that, you know? Because it's one thing to be bros with somebody, right? It's another thing to be like, hey, can I get $80K from you? Yeah. You know, and it doesn't really matter how much money they're worth. It's kind of like, you know, then your relationship changes a tad, right? Totally. It's like, can this dude actually get this money back to me? Like, am I donating this bad boy to charity? How much of this building do I going to own? How much of the debt do I own? You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot of like real moments in there, which is why some of that stuff comes down to the wire. And I honestly think, I mean, I would venture to say that those guys who gave you the money looked at you and said, we like Will, and we trust him. And that's really what the calculation came down to. 100%. You know? Yeah. And I now that guy is one of my neighbors in Puerto Rico now. Is he? Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Nice. It's kind of funny how it all went full circle. Yeah. So with the gym, so you're still in the building. Is there a gym still in there? There's not. So when COVID hit, I had already been kind of thinking that the gym life was not for me. Wasn't going to give me kind of like what we were talking about before. And so when COVID hit, we shut one down, and then I sold out of the other one we had to the partner that I had, and they still run that one in St. George. Down in St. George, cool. Yep. But I still in the building, so I got new partners in it. So the buddy that gave me the initial money, we actually bought him out about 3 months ago. Made money. Nice. So on that, he's happy. Yeah, he's super happy. Good. Made money. We actually doubled his money in about 2 years, so not too bad. There you go. Not too bad. Take that return. Yeah, not too bad. So he was happy. But like you're saying, man, it was stressful. Because when it's your money and you know you can work and you know you can just hustle your way out, that's fine. But when it's somebody else's, it adds a lot more sleepless nights, like waking up thinking about taking that. But it was a good experience. But he got his money, still in the building, got new partners in it. Now it's going to be an event center and a bakery, so totally different from a gym.
Oh, so are they working on that part of it then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So they're building it all out right now.
Yeah, cool.
Actually.
Yeah, I actually went down. I was in Cedar City a few weeks ago. My nephew's down there in school right now.
Oh, really?
And so we went to that pizza place that's down there.
Yeah.
What's that called? Do you remember?
Yep. I do. Centro.
Yeah, Centro.
So you know where Centro is?
Yeah.
Right behind it is our building.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like, there's that parking lot right behind Centro.
Yeah.
When you look at the back, there's still CrossFit Cedar City painted on the back. We still got to
gotcha.
paint it, but it's right behind there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
That was.
I mean, Cedar City seems like a bustling little place.
Yeah, I think it'll grow
You know?
a ton. You know, I think all the
Yeah.
growth from Utah County is going to move its way down at some point. And
Yeah.
St. George is booming.
Yeah.
So it'll get its spot.
Yeah.
It's growing a ton.
Oh, good. So you're just going to be the landlord now.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a little bit less stressful than running a gym in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the floor broke in there. This is another stressful story.
Yeah.
So we buy this movie theater. It's 12,000 square feet. Go through all the stress of making it happen. And in the loan that we had was a big remodel budget.
Yeah.
So I don't remember exactly how much it was, but we had to remodel the whole building. The building was sloped. So think of like an old school movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And they're built on about a 6-foot kind of curve.
Mm-hmm.
So from the top to the bottom, when we bought it, there was a lake in the middle of it.
Oh, sweet.
So it was a mess, man. I still have pictures of just this place is a dump.
Yeah.
But I was young and dumb too, and so it's like, all right, I'll be super excited. We're gonna remodel it. And I watched this partner that we just came in. They have a younger daughter, and her dream is to run the bakery and the event center with her mom. And so the husband/dad who came in and partnered with us in the building, very smart businessman, has done very well, has a good mind on his shoulders, but the daughter and wife are running a little bit more on passion.
Yeah.
And I told him, hey, this is going to take money to make all this happen. He's like, I know. But I just watch her eyes when she walks in the building to see what it can be was the same as mine when I saw the lake in there.
Yeah.
It's like you look past all the good decisions you should be making and say, we'll just get the water out. Who cares where it's coming from if the foundation's broken, and you just make decisions. But anyways, we had to flatten the floor. Mm-hmm. And so we built an entire floor on top of this kind of curve.
How'd you build it? Just wood?
Yeah, so we had to use metal for fire regulation.
Oh, okay.
But essentially just if your normal studs are 16 foot on center, we went 12 foot on center and then doubled them up. And so if you have one layer of flooring, we went 3 because we want to be able to drop deadlifts and hang cleans and do 600 pounds on it.
Yeah.
Well, the engineers built it to do that. We finished the building to move the gym in before all the stuff I was talking about. 2 weeks into the floor being done, it breaks. All the studs underneath start buckling.
Oh, great.
So I'm gone for the summer selling. Our head coach sends me a video, and the floor is a trampoline. Like, just has divots in it. And this is like 2 weeks after it had been done. So we fixed it, but that was the other reason we kind of got out of the gym there is the floor just broke. And so we've been dealing lawsuits and making that all fix for almost 2 years now.
Oh, gosh.
So even when you win, even when you close the loan, even when everything is high, it's never a done deal. There's always stuff, you know? And so now it's working out. Now the floor is getting fixed. The event center will be perfect, but that's been almost 5 year ordeal with that. Yeah. It's been fun. A lot of late nights.
But you're happy to get to the point where you just get a check in the mail, right?
Yeah, very much so, especially because I've been the one paying out. I've been the one writing the checks for all the things for a long time. So it's good. It all worked out in the long run. But to your initial question of, is it overwhelming? Yeah.
Yeah, all the time, right?
Always.
Yeah, it's funny. Every time I buy a business or invest in something, like I do a lot of analytics at the start, get my mind right on the deal. And then every time I give the money, I'm always just like, ugh, please just work. It still feels like I'm just throwing the freaking dice, even no matter how much prep you do.
I think that's interesting because I think people look at like, some of it is, one, you're willing to make the risk. And like you win, you do all the analytics, you do all the due diligence. But some of it is, like, it just works. There is luck there.
A lot of people dependent stuff.
Yeah.
So even when I bought my parents' business from them, right? There's a lot of some people would feel a lot of pressure. I don't, because that business is so ingrained in me. But like, you know, a lot of it was like my parents' retirement, you know, like when I actually bought it, you know, the money that they get. And it's like, man, if I freaking screw this up or like, and I freak out more nowadays, especially with COVID, you know, which is stupid. Our business got way bigger during COVID, but for a couple of minutes there, I actually gained a lot of weight. I gained like 30 pounds when COVID hit.
You look a lot better now.
Thank you very much.
I met you in the middle of COVID.
Yeah, you probably did.
I did.
Yeah. 75 hard doesn't hurt. You know, 2 workouts a day. I'm hating that. But anyways, go off on a tangent on that. But yeah, there's a lot of moments where I'm just like, crap, what if the market moves? What if the government stops spending money? Because we do a lot of rec centers in high schools. And, you know, it's just like, good thing is the government will never stop spending money because they're just a money spending machine.
Keep taking it and spending it.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, being a business owner, it's really not for everybody. I think it's good for everyone to experience it, you know, because it's like, you know, but like, I think the media a little bit and like people online and social media, they paint being a business owner like it's the greatest thing ever. And once you have that LLC in your hand, you know, you're just making millions and millions of dollars. And I mean, it's like, I don't know, 10% of business owners make $1 million bucks, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know the number is, but it feels like that.
Well, I think 88% is a real stat.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that fail in the first 3 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
They run out of cash or they don't work, and I like that point because I think people will look up to you. People will call me and say, "Hey, should I do this? Should I get in this?" Yeah, try it to understand it.
Yeah.
Because those moments of overwhelm, those moments of failure.
Yeah.
But it is not a bad thing to make really good money working for a great organization and adding value to it.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's been a ton of times where I think, man, I just be a lot better to just have some money coming in and not have to worry about all of this right now.
Don't have to do accounting. Don't have to file taxes.
Don't do 8 million different things at the same time. Yeah. And the media, social media especially, makes it super sexy.
Yeah.
You know, it's a highlight reel of what we think is happening. Yeah. But it's not what really happens most of the time. Most guys are just showing you the 1%. You know? And a lot of it is BS anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, even that 1% you're seeing is like,
yeah,
I know you financed that, bro.
Yeah. You financed that or you borrowed that or maybe you have the money but like your life's a mess. And that's not everybody. Like people have it all together and there is some really good, successful people that have it all. Yeah. I think we should be clear on that too because it is fun.
No, absolutely.
But there's a piece of it and I think it's not a bad thing to switch it up and change things and work for somebody, work with other people. Yeah. There's a million ways to skin the cat.
No, you're 100% right. Because there's a point too where you get people that are so cynical and it's just like, oh, everybody, you know, he's successful, so he must be cheating on his wife. Or his wife must hate him because he's always gone. And like, there's always like the cynical side. It's like, no, that's not the cynical side. The cynical side is you see him in his private jet and you think his life is cake. It's not. He's responsible for other people's families. He's responsible for payroll. You know, there's always a burden that's on him or her. You know, there's a lot of successful women out there too. Yeah, you know, that's the side where we're kind of talking about, right? Not the like, oh, everyone's evil who has money. You know, actually, that freaking drives me crazy.
It is, and I think a lot of people have it. You know, especially if you don't come from it. Yeah. If you maybe didn't grow up with a lot of money, you look at people, and I think a lot of people make the justification of, well, I don't have money or I'm not going to get it because I don't want to be that. But the more success I have found and the more my network has changed to people with a lot of money, they're some of the best people I know.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they give freely, they don't judge. That has been a really interesting moment for me. Yeah,
I served on boards at UVU for, probably like 11 years. 9 to 11 years. I'm getting old, can't remember, right? I was on the Center for Advancement of Leadership board for a long time, then I was on the Culinary Arts board. And all boards do is raise money. Yeah. Right? That's literally all you do. You know, it's not like we're in there making decisions on curriculum or like, you know, telling the professors how to do their stuff, right? It's like, hey, we need some money for our program, and if you don't get us money, it'll die. And it's like, what? You know, then you're like calling friends and you're holding events and you do all this stuff, and it's like the people that keep those things moving are rich people.
Yeah.
You know, not successful people, rich people, because they have enough money to like, you know, normally they're successful, but, you know, they got to put money into the pot. You know, the government only gives X amount to each school, you know. Now, overspending in college is a whole other thing, right? But, no, I mean, it's people donating their own money. And another thing that's crazy is, you know, I'll hear people say, well, that's just for their tax benefit. It's like, Do you not understand how that works? If you donate $100, right, you had to have made $100, and if you're in the highest tax bracket, let's just say 42%, you're only saving $42 in every 100 that you give. So it's not like it's straight lace, I'm either paying the government or I'm giving it to the school. So, it's a thing. It's like, no, they are giving their money.
Yeah.
So that's why you guys in Puerto Rico.
Unless you move to Puerto Rico. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Unless you move to Puerto Rico.
See, that is so dope. So let's go into that, man. So
all right, let's dive into that.
You did every guy who makes money's dream and moved to Puerto Rico.
I did. So if you don't know and you're listening to this, it's called Act 60 now. It used to be Act 20 and Act 22. And I'm not a lawyer, so don't take any of my advice on anything that I say on this. Call someone else. But you pay a lot less taxes. So there's some setups in this act that allow you to pay less, move there, help the infrastructure of Puerto Rico, live on an island, and we've been there a year and a half, and it has been awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's the best part about living out there?
So for us, we'll get to the money side is nice, but just the lifestyle is awesome.
Yeah.
There's a really, really cool community there because you got to be a little bit adventurous, a little bit crazy, and you got to have a reason to be there. Because it is an island. It's in the middle of nowhere. They had Katrina, I want to say about 8 years ago now, that really was devastating for the island.
Yeah, like busted up their like power grid and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
so it's the longest power blackout in modern history.
Yeah.
So they didn't have power in parts of the island for a long time. And so the lifestyle is very different than what you would be used to in Utah County, San Diego, New York, San Francisco, where a lot of these people are coming from that we've now met. But it's slower. It truly is island life. Like we live right on the beach. It takes me 27 seconds to walk from my back door to the beach.
Yeah.
And just spending time with my kids, being with my wife, being a little bit less like in the hustle and bustle has been really awesome for us. That's probably outside of all the business stuff has been really fun. My son's learning to surf, doing a bunch of different things that we would just never have done living in southern Utah.
Yeah. So what is so island life? What's the downsides of being there?
So we're back for the summer for 2.5 months. So like Amazon Prime gets here in a day, 2 days top. So I ordered stuff yesterday that I'll pick up today. It's like 5-6 days there, So still first world problems, but like we're just things that we're sitting back looking at now. Oh, this is nice. We can literally just order stuff and have it here today and tomorrow. So that doesn't happen. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks or packages get lost. I've had like 3 packages that I never get.
Yeah.
So there's that. Access to just a variety of different things. We got like 4 solid restaurants.
Right.
There's not 100. Housing is different. We always like what you can get for $1 million in Puerto Rico is not what you can get for $1 million here. It's just, it's different. Maintenance is different.
Is it more expensive there on a home, or is it less?
It used to be less. It's more now because of the act and a lot of people coming there. So it's one of the issues of the overall infrastructure of Puerto Rico. Like when I originally looked at moving there 2 years ago now, so I went there January 2 years ago. We were looking at a house for about $1 million. That same house now is $7 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I know when I looked a little bit before I met you because, I was hearing about all the tax benefits and stuff. And then when you said you were going, I was like, oh, okay, I'm really going to look at the real estate. And the real estate seemed insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So that's the other interesting part of it is there really are kind of pockets. And so if you look at the demographic of who's moving there, you've got to have a reason. You got to make enough money to make it work. Except for me. I'll tell you that story in a second. But there's high net worth people that go in there, right? So they're coming from very affluent homes, very affluent neighborhoods, and it is not the same, So if you're used to living in a very nice, high-tech, modern home, that same home is not the same in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And so there's only a few different pockets. So I would say there's probably 5 to 7 neighborhoods or communities that you're really going to want to look at.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the exact numbers, but when we moved there, let's say there were 1,000 Act 60 applicants. Well, that's almost 10x'd. And don't quote me on those numbers, but it's gone up significantly over the last couple of years with political, tax change, president changes, all those. And so things changed significantly, and house prices skyrocketed.
Yeah.
I mean, we have friends that bought for $2 million and sold for $10 million 8 months later. Like, it made more money on their real estate in Puerto Rico than they ever did in their business. It's crazy.
No, that is insane.
Yeah. It's set like the house we originally rented when we moved there, we could have bought for probably $300,000 2 years prior. Right now is like 1.7.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. And that's
is that sustainable?
No, it's all coming back down.
Okay.
So last year it was crazy, but we're starting to see it come down. I don't think it'll go all the way back down to where it was, but it's dropping now.
Yeah.
And rents are dropping. So
are they building new homes out there?
They are building. It just doesn't go very fast.
Yeah.
So if it takes you 8 months to build a house here, it probably takes you 2.5 there.
Yeah.
Just the infrastructure of building and getting materials. We've had people wait on windows for
yeah, that same
months.
Crap's happening.
Yeah, the same stuff that happens here, but it's probably double there.
Yeah.
You know, just double the time, double.
Because you got to slow boat everything in, right?
Yeah, everything's coming in on the boats, and it's this tiny island in the middle of nowhere.
Jeez. How's the power situation?
Power, we lose power probably once a month. It's just kind of normal.
Yeah.
So you've got a generator, so your generator will kick on, and then it'll run. I think the longest we've gone is 3 days without power.
Generator hold up for that long?
If you got extra gas, yeah.
Okay.
So depending on the size of your generator, but it'll kick on. Ours won't. Like we can run the AC for a little bit, but kind of salvage the AC as you run. So there's things like that. Like you would never think about being without power, without Wi-Fi, without charging your phones. But there was a time where, you know, hurricane season is kind of August, September. And so we lost power at least last year in our experience a little more then. And so at least once a week we lose it for a few hours. It just click off and you go, oh, no power for a little bit. Then it'll come back on. So it's just things like that you never experience here. If the power goes out in the middle of Utah County, it's everybody knows, and that's a big problem.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're getting updates every 10 minutes on your phone from the power company. Yeah.
We would end up texting our neighbors, hey, is your power out too? Okay, cool. Just making sure it wasn't just our house. Yeah, it's out. It'll be on in a little bit.
Yeah. So what about the internet out there?
Internet's pretty
good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What's the service you use?
I don't remember. We've used 2. So I have 2 because it does go out and it's not fantastic. Yeah. So it kind of goes. If one goes out, I switch to the other. But Elon's Starlink just came out there. And so
I have that here.
Yeah, I just got that, and that's been working pretty well.
Okay, good. I would imagine that's going to be the...
Yeah, I think overall that's going to be the best option.
Yeah.
But it just got there maybe 4 months ago.
Okay. What about like solar? Do people using solar or alternate energy?
People have solar.
Is it worth it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it to really know how well it works. A lot of our friends have it on their homes, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Seems like it might be expensive to get the panels there.
Yeah.
But
maybe. I have no idea.
Never know.
Yeah. I haven't looked.
Is the food good?
The food is good. I like the food. I'm kind of plain on food, though. I just eat a steak a day and some eggs, so kind of boring.
Yeah.
But it is good. Yeah, we really like it.
What about going out to eat? So that was one of the things I was going to ask you. You got like 4 or 5 restaurants, right?
Yeah, so we live in Dorado, which is kind of a smaller community, but like San Juan is awesome. So we can get to San Juan in like 45 minutes, and there's awesome food, awesome restaurants, good nightlife in San Juan and Condado. So there's really good stuff there. Yeah.
Nice. So what's your favorite restaurant there?
We have this little like boutique bistro called KGB in Dorado. I love it. So I never ate seafood. In fact, my mom I remember one Christmas we went to Cape Cod. She was like, I'll pay you to eat fish. So she paid me $20. I took a bite of the fish and ended up running to the restaurant or the bathroom to throw it up. Yeah. Because I just hated it. I just never ate it.
Yeah.
But since moving to Puerto Rico, I love it. So like sushi, tuna, fish, that has opened my world to like a whole new realm of taste.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm like into sushi. My wife was making fun of me yesterday because she went to get a cookie. And I was like, there's a sushi place across the street, and I went and got sushi, and she got a cookie. So that's been my new thing. I love, like, seared tuna has become one of my favorite meals.
Oh, nice. Yeah, over the years, I've gotten really into seafood as well. It's just good.
It is good.
It's fresh, feels clean. You know, it's not heavy. It's not pasta.
I feel good after. Yeah. Pasta used to be my favorite When I got married, my mother-in-law, or I think it was my sister-in-law, got me this shirt that was like marinara because that was all I ate. Pasta, marinara. You're playing rugby all the time. You're lifting. You're working out. Like, it doesn't matter as much. But as you get a little bit older and you're not running around the field, like that stuff sits differently.
Yeah. You still have it in you tomorrow?
Yeah. Yep.
So how long you been in Puerto Rico for?
Till it stops working.
Yeah.
Till it doesn't work anymore.
Wife loves it?
My wife loves it. Yep. Yeah. And I think that's the hard part is there are probably less, most of the time, at least with people that we know in our network, the husbands love it, and then the wives either hate it or love it. Right. So if your wife loves it, then you stay. If your wife hates it, you don't make it, and you leave. But my wife loves it. She's been awesome. She's pretty adventurous. Loves surfing, loves being out on all the waterfalls in the rainforest. Right. So I think we'll be there for a while. Our kids are having an amazing school experience that we put them in this little kind of Montessori academy with just a few other families, and it's been so much better than the public school situations they were in. And there's downsides, but the upsides are awesome for us. So I don't know.
I think really at the end of the day, it sounds like everyone's just thriving over there, right?
Yeah, we're thriving. Yeah. Like, we love it. And my kids are thriving. My wife is thriving. Our relationship is thriving. Like, things are good. So it's kind of it's cool to look back because I mentioned earlier, like, you only go there for taxes, but that was really not me at the time. Yeah. Like, I was making money. We had transitioned out of the gyms, but not like, it's not like I was paying hands over fist in taxes, you know? And so I moved there. We had some friends that moved there that did much better than me at the time. But I knew I didn't want to be where I was at. I knew I wanted to do different things, and I'll call them bigger things, right? I knew I just wanted to change the vehicles I was in, and I looked at the guys that were over there, and that's what they were doing. And so we knew we wanted adventure. We had visited a couple of times, saw kind of the community and the way of life, and they were like, all right, we're going to do it. We'll make it happen. So we moved, and everything that has happened since we moved has 10x'd everything in my life. So financially, I would say relationship, my family life, my overall quality of life. Yeah. So that's been a big testament to me of, like, just make the moves. When you know you don't want to, it's scary. And we moved and everybody thought we were crazy. And I remember talking to this. So for us in the real estate at that time, I remember calling the real estate agent, and she was like, what's your budget? And I was like, well, I think somewhere between like 800,000 and maybe 1.8 million. And she was like, oh, honey, I only work with people over 5 million. I was like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. Yeah. So we got an Airbnb for 8 weeks, moved, had no plan. So it was kind of like we sold our house, and it was jump and build the parachute on the way.
So your wife has to be on board with this, right?
Yeah, my wife's on board. My wife's awesome, man.
Because if not, you're coming home every day and she's just grumpy, right?
Yeah, so, and she really, like, we visited some friends that lived there in Dorado, and she saw the lifestyle. Yeah. Like, she saw the people there that were loving it. There were kids everywhere running around. Like, it is Disneyland on a golf cart. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah. And so she was like, I want that. It's like, all right, I'll figure out how to get us there. So we got us there. We rented a place for 8 weeks, and we basically had 8 weeks to find a house, figure out if we were really going to do it, apply for all the ag stuff. Yeah. And we were not as proactive as maybe some of you looking at this would be. Yeah. But we figured it out. So we went there. We stayed in this Airbnb. We found a house, signed a long-term lease, moved, came back, got our dog, got our 2 cats. So we flew back with 3 suitcases, a dog, and 2 cats. It was crazy. And came back and then just loved it. And everything's kind of taken off
from there.
Then. Yeah.
So explain the tax benefit of going there.
Okay, so
in layman's terms, obviously.
Yeah, so I'll be super simple because I'm pretty simple on it. But if you have a company that can be essentially headquartered in Puerto Rico, that can serve the mainland. So whether that's services, manufacturing, do things over here, you can apply for one level of Act 60. So it used to be, maybe if you've heard Act 20 or Act 22, there's the personal and the business side. So one of those is now you move your business over there. It's headquartered there. You service the mainland. Then you can run your business after kind of normal taxes are paid. You pay normal wages, so maybe call it $60K a year. On top of that, you're only going to pay 4% tax on your income if you're on the business side. Then there's also the personal side, which taxes you at 0% of capital gains. So a lot of crypto guys over there, a lot of stock market, funding guys running funds, because you're going to get taxed at 0% on your cap gains.
Yeah.
So really you're looking at two big advantages: 0% cap gains and then 4% on income if you move your business over there.
Yeah. And if people understand cap gains, you are, it's your investment income.
Yep.
Right. And so if you're not being taxed on that, you can exponentially grow your net worth like unbelievably.
Unbelievably. Yeah. Yep.
Because, if you make $5 million instead of you paying, what is it, 25%,
Yeah.
1.5 or whatever, right? It's like, you're just taking another $1.5 million and reinvesting it.
Yep.
Then you make more money, you reinvest it, make more money, reinvest it. So over 10 years, I mean, your performance is probably 10x of what you would have done if you were paying taxes on the mainland.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's been a big learning curve for me, is because I got into the entrepreneur world running gyms, which is not, let's call it, not that sophisticated in the finance realm of things, right? But when you start to understand how do the wealthy become wealthy and how do the rich really make money and keep their money, you start to understand things like capital gains and understanding the tax codes and how to use them to your advantage. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, then you can reinvest. You also get into this world of people understanding how to multiply money. Mm-hmm. And that has been, I did not learn that in school. My MBA didn't teach me that. But in the last year and a half of being around people that understand real finance, real accounting, real money multiplication, now you get to play.
Yeah.
And that's been really fun.
So have you found some like friends/mentors out there that are playing the game in a big way?
Ton. Yeah. It's awesome.
Are they pretty open about it out there?
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the beauty over there, is because right? Like you're here, you're obviously here for this reason. Mm-hmm. What do you do? How can we help each other? How can we be involved? So I'm now currently the CEO of DYLN, which is a water bottle company. I think we mentioned that earlier. Yeah. That only happened because of moving to Puerto Rico. Yeah. If I hadn't moved to Puerto Rico, that opportunity never would have came. Yeah. So I never would have raised money on a big scale. So we talked about raising, I think it was $35K before. Mm-hmm. Now you're talking millions, right? Like, can you raise 1.4? We're in another round of funding right now. Can I go raise 4 million? Yeah. And how quickly that's jumped from 35K to 4 million, and it not being this crazy jump in my mind, is all because of being around guys there that are raising 2 billion, you know, and teaching you how to do it. And so I don't think you can skip steps in business. This is, I guess, one of my thoughts lately is you got to learn. Yeah. You can't skip steps, but you can go so much faster. Like, how quickly can you learn the steps? How quickly can you learn the things? Find mentors, get experience, be in the game, be the man in the arena, and then be surrounded by people doing it bigger than you. You'll grow so much faster. Yeah. That's why I hate school. Like, school does not give you that opportunity. They set you up and say, here's a semester, and you can learn A to Z. These are all the things you have to learn this semester. Well, we were talking before this, like, your son's going to a science camp. He's going to learn in a week what probably takes a year for them to learn because of how quickly you can do it. Yeah. And efficiently you do it. Absolutely. It's the same in business. So I think that's what I'm trying to focus on now, is how can you find the guys that have already done it, learn it quickly, not try to skip the step, because I've done that before and then it bites you in the ass. Yeah. But just do it quickly and efficiently. Yeah. That's my rant.
So, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So out there, do you have a CPA that you use on the island, or you use a CPA?
Yeah, so you have to use a CPA on the island. Yeah. You have to get a lawyer and a CPA on the island. So there's kind of a...
Are they local guys, or are they mainland guys?
Yeah. Okay. There's some mainland guys in the office, but yeah.
So do you speak Spanish?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. From the mission?
Yeah. So I started my mission. I started in Salt Lake City.
Did you really?
Yeah. That's everybody's reaction.
I love it.
I sort of saw like pause.
Well, hey, I did 6 weeks in Delta. So I was in Scotland. I broke my back, came home, had surgery, went to Delta for 6 weeks. So I feel your pain. Okay. Just not 2 years of pain.
Yeah. No, I did 2 years. My saving grace, it was actually an awesome mission. Yeah. But my saving grace was that I was at BYU Provo. Mm-hmm. My entire mom's family, who's like LDS pioneer ancestors, right? Like they all live in Utah County. I'm at my grandma's house, open my call, going to BYU to Salt Lake City, Utah. So I actually went to the bathroom and just like stared at the mirror and was like, for real? Yeah. So I think every Mormon kid's dream is like, all right, I'm going to go somewhere cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Salt Lake is not.
Yeah. I want to go to India.
India.
I'm very grateful I did not go to India, but at the time I wanted to go.
Scotland is still cool.
Scotland's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, Scotland's still dope.
I just learned a language that no one speaks.
Or can understand.
Or understand. Yeah.
But I did serve Spanish speaking in Salt Lake.
Okay.
So it was awesome. We went all the parts of Salt Lake that we didn't know existed as a white kid.
Yeah.
That's where I lived. So like Park City, a lot of cool places in Salt Lake, just speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
So I do speak it.
So do you use it a lot when you're in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I do use it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Does your wife speak Spanish at all?
No, she's learning. Kids are learning.
Are they picking it up?
Slowly, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. Yesterday, actually, my wife and I were talking about someone that we didn't want them to know we were talking about them. So I said it in Spanish, and she got it.
Nice.
So it's coming. It's getting there. Yeah.
It's one thing I probably should have learned forever ago. I have a lot of people around me that speak Spanish.
I really like it. And the Hispanic, Latino culture in general is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's been really fun.
Oh yeah, once they like you, man, they bring you lunch every day. It's always a taco or a burrito or whatever the heck. Don't ever have the green sauce though. When I was a kid, so I worked in back in my dad's shop, when I was a kid. And the welders would always bring tamales or whatever their wife made for them for that day. They always act like they made it. And they're like, "Oh, have some of this, man. Have some of this." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And it was like it would always burn my brains out. And I'm like, "What the heck?" I can't even taste anything now. But yeah, I used to just because I used to weld with them, so I would just pull my crap off and sit there and just eat their food and because they eat like 3 times a day.
Yeah, they're always eating.
It's not lunch. It's like every break they eat.
Yeah. When I remember I first got out and there was this lady. She was awesome. She ended up feeding me my entire mission. Like she would bring me tamales and these burritos and tortillas that she would make wherever I served. She would just bring them to me. Every other week she'd bring me this cooler. It was awesome. But the first time I ever ate at her house, I was dying, like trying to be nice and eat the food, but I'm just like sweating and red. They're all making fun of me. I don't remember the pepper, but she gave me this bag of pepper. She's right, you're going to eat 2 every day until you can eat my food. And so nice. Every morning I'd eat a pepper, cry. Every night I'd eat a pepper and cry until I could finally down the food. And
nice.
I figured it out. But it's kind of gone now.
Is it? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I don't eat it as much. And I'll go eat spicy now, and it's like I'm a wimp. But I was good for a minute.
Yeah, I'm like a medium to low guy on the spice, Because in Scotland, they do a lot of Indian food.
Oh, really?
So it's the Indian spice, which is, it's hot. It's just different.
Yeah, that's
Every
hot,
culture
though.
has their thing,
Yeah.
But, I've had a Vindaloo that I was literally just like, I couldn't see. I was tearing up. I was snotting. I was sweating. The guy was laughing his brains out. I think he tried to get me to eat it for like 4 months, and it was right before I went home, and I was like, fine, dude. His name is... What's his name? Like Craig or something like that. I'm like, make me a bowl. Let me just freaking. I mean, I got 4 bites into it, and I was like, I can't eat this. I can't even see where you're at. I am very white, and so are you. How can you eat this stuff?
That's awesome.
So
yeah, good times. Good times.
Yeah, those are awesome. So now I know you got Dylan going, but you also are you still doing the SEO stuff?
Yeah. So when I started getting out of the gyms, I hired. Long story short is when I was trying to grow the gyms, I didn't really know how to do it. I never really marketed, been in business, so you're kind of thrown in the fire. Mm-hmm. So I hired a consultant guy, paid him, and he taught us how to grow the gyms, worked. And then he ended up hiring me. So it was all marketing. I worked for him for almost 2 years, and he kind of taught me just everything in the marketing world, how to grow a business, how to grow online. Mm-hmm. And so when I knew the gyms weren't really going to be the ticket, I started a marketing agency, and so we help people grow online, launch YouTubes, grow podcasts, build their personal and professional brands, and that's still going. Yep. So I've got a partner in that, and that's still going well. He kind of runs the day-to-day, but.
And what's the name of that company?
It was Taylor Green Media, and then we just kind of rebranded everything to Scaling with Media.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Scaling with Media.
Yep.
Cool.
So
who's a fun client you have?
Jeffrey Gittimer is a good client.
Okay.
He's like been around forever, but kind of a sales guru.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a really fun one.
Yeah.
I was talking to him yesterday, and so he's been in the game. I don't know how old he is. He might, if he listens to this, sorry, Jeffrey, but maybe 65, 70.
Yeah.
But he's good friends with like Russell Brunson at ClickFunnels.
Okay.
And like a bunch of other successful Mormon guys.
Yeah.
And he really wants to, like, capstone project is build a project in a course called The Mormon and the Jew. And basically go through like successful Mormons, successful Jews, and the correlations between their success and their just core kind of beliefs of principles. Yeah. Not culturally at all, But we were talking about that yesterday. Is he wants to build a project called Mormon and the Jew with us, which I think will be kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Just an interesting project.
I mean, out there in the business world, Mormons and Jews are definitely known for killing it.
Yeah, they can make it, right?
Yeah.
So he wants to highlight it all. So that'll be a fun little project.
Nice. So if you were to give advice for someone, say they just bought a restaurant, what do they need to do marketing wise?
So I think in today's world, video is king, right? Like if you can just get out in front of people, I'm of the opinion, just like we're sitting here in this podcast, if you can grow a brand and get eyeballs, get attention, you can turn that attention into money.
Yeah.
I think there's a funnel to that and there's a process to that, but step one of that is how can you become relevant in the market that you're in? And so the beauty of current media platforms is you can geo-target stuff, you can set radiuses. So create some intriguing videos, just be consistent on it, get on as the new restaurant owner and say, hey, I'm Dave, I just bought this restaurant and this is what we're doing, and do it every week and just put it out, because it's going to do a couple things. One, you're going to get really confident in who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And then people are going to start recognizing you. Yeah. And just because your food's good, that's great. But if you can be in front of people and have attention in today's world, I think that's the new currency.
Nice.
So have attention.
And what level of sophistication do these videos need to be?
Not. I think in fact, most of the ones that are super highly produced actually do worse than the ones of people just being authentic. I think we're in a world now where authenticity matters and people can read through the BS pretty quickly. Yeah. And so just because maybe 10 years ago you could spend some money on a really nice studio, and not saying that doesn't work, like the studio we're in is awesome and it helps, right? Yeah. But if you're just starting, don't let the hurdle of this is not a high production quality get you to stop. Yeah. Will it matter over time? Yeah. I mean, if our audio sucked, nobody would listen. Yeah. Right. But to just get started, find your voice, get it out there, do it with your phone. The iPhone cameras right now are just as good as most of these cameras, Yeah. So just start, hit play and go. Yeah. And then you'll get better at it.
No, I follow a guy on TikTok, and I've been following him now for, I don't know, maybe a month. And he's probably one of the best financial minds I've ever seen. He's a hippie, super wealthy dude in California. I don't even know his name because he doesn't put it on his social media. He just has it's like SCM-OAG or something like that.
That's crazy.
And he literally just puts his phone up and he just talks. Yeah. And it's like, this is gold. And every time I leave a comment, he responds to me. So my name's President McCormack on TikTok, right? Because that's kind of my thing, right? I just came up with it when I started my Instagram like 8 years ago. And so he always calls me President, right? And he's always like, thanks, awesome. President, or like, good to hear from you, President, and like all this stuff. I think he thinks it's funny. Hopefully I meet the dude one day. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of like, I don't know, he's just a dude I just like. I just kind of jive with what he's saying, And and there's a couple other guys that I follow, the same thing. They just threw their phone up and talked into it for 20 minutes, chopped it up into a bunch of little clips, and then just throw it on their social media. Yeah. And it's authentic.
It is. And if you add value to that authenticity, then people will follow you. Yeah. If you're full of crap or you're not good at it, people eventually stop. Yeah. But if you can add value, it doesn't have to be high production quality.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're in a nice studio here, mostly because my friend built it, and gave me a good deal to come down here and shoot here, I mean, I actually spent like $15,000 on equipment at my office. But I couldn't quite get it going, and the room's not quite right. I got 4 spots, and finally I was just like, this is ridiculous. I just go down here. They take care of me down here. Do an interview, and I get out of here.
Walk out.
Yeah. And so, and my whole thing with the podcast, I haven't actually done my introduction podcast yet. To actually launch. Because we'll launch this in like a month or two. Cool. And but really, it's for 2 things. It's so I can leave a legacy for my kids, and that's legitimately 50% of the reason I'm doing this. The other one is so that people understand me. So in my investment fund, as they can go and listen to me talk to people and kind of understand the way I think and my opinions on things, so they get this nice introduction, and hopefully there's some entertainment value in these as well. Yeah. And then so when I do go to raise money from them or talk about projects we're doing, that they're just like, oh yeah, I kind of like this guy, I kind of like what he's got going on. That's really the 2 reasons why I'm doing a podcast. So
I love it. Well, I think when you think about today, and my wife makes fun of me because I always make up these arbitrary timelines like they're real. Yeah. But pretend 25 years ago or 30 years ago, you did business in your community. And you did it by putting a sign up and shaking hands. And I remember my grandpa here in Utah County, he was an orthodontist. And everybody knew him in the 10-mile radius, and he was the orthodontist, and he knew everybody's family. Well, you can still do that, but the way that social media has evolved today, you now have the world. I can reach out and digitally shake your hand, have you get to know me, have those conversations, comment that lead to, hey, do you want to do business together? Do you want to do this together? Do you want to raise money together? Do you want to pool funds? You know, there's so much more opportunity, but you have to leverage the platform well and then not let it control you and create a facade that's not real.
Yeah.
Because just like in person, I'd actually say it's easier in person to know if somebody's full of it or not.
Sure.
It's a little bit harder on the social media side.
Yeah.
But when people feel that authenticity and they hear your podcast, they're going to know. I think it does so much good for you.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, if I owned a restaurant, man, I'd be, you know, middle of the week every flipping Monday, right? Just like, hey, this is what we made. This is how I made it, you know. I mean, half my TikTok is guys just slapping sandwiches together and cutting them and eating them. I'm like, oh, that looks so good.
It looks good, huh? Yeah.
Where's this guy's restaurant at, you know?
Yep.
Do you ever follow that guy on TikTok that, like, kicks his fridge at the end?
No.
He drives me crazy, but gosh dang it, dude. The food he makes looks so freaking good. He just yells at the end, oh, and I love you. And he, like, punches his fridge.
Really?
I'm just
I gotta find that
it's
one.
like some shtick that he's got going on, you know? But, like, yeah, I don't know. TikTok is like my new love.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. I normally connect with people on Instagram, you know, and I put, you know, stuff on there that I think is interesting or relevant or whatever, you know, like all the basketball floors we do, and people love that stuff. But TikTok, man, if I'm going to the bathroom, it's like 20 minutes of TikTok almost every time. It's just like my escape from the world.
Yep.
So
I had to delete it from my phone because you just get lost in there, man.
Oh, yeah.
You just get
lost. Yeah. I literally have a rule. I do not get on TikTok unless I'm in an airport or a bathroom.
That's a good rule. That's a good rule.
Or I'll be on it all the time.
Yeah, or you never stop. It's addicting.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what's next steps with DYLN?
So we are currently raising money.
Yeah.
We're going to restructure the deal to make it better for the next version of DYLN.
Yeah.
So DYLN's been around for about 6 years now. Had a great year last year. Just did over $4 million in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to keep growing that and take it to the moon. And the first round of investors helped us get there. And we've negotiated a really good deal to have them be able to move on and us be able to bring on new money and be able to take it to the next level.
So round B?
Yeah. So we're in our round B. And
are you taking A out?
Yeah. We'll take A out with this
and
then move on.
Cool.
So, yeah, fun things. We got great things happening. We're not established yet, but we've got some good B2B relations. We understand our e-com side and want to launch some new products and see how far we can take it in the hydration and health space.
So where can you buy it right now?
So right now you can go to dyln.co, so CO, so spelled DYLN.co. And then we're in several retailers, so Sprouts, Fresh Time, Ace are kind of our big ones right now. Working on a couple others.
Are they regional or are they across the
country?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were regional last year, and then just barely, actually, in the last couple of months, got refreshed to go nationally. So
nice.
Yeah.
Have you tried Costco yet?
We did try Costco. We failed on our first round, but we'll get in eventually.
Why did you fail?
We just couldn't match we couldn't create a good enough product mix for them. So we created a price. We put 2 bottles together with some accessories. And they just didn't like the price point at that time.
Did they want so they want a product or a group deal, right? They want not just one bottle. They want a little like package is what I'm trying to say.
Yep. So they wanted a specific kind of Costco package. Like if I walk into Costco, I can get the bottle anywhere. But if I come to Costco, what am I going to get? And most of our people, the bulk orders of Costco. So we put together 2 bottles, 2 sports caps, and extra diffusers. But in the bottom of this thing, it's filled with water, so I won't show it. There's a diffuser. So it has minerals in it that help alkalize the water.
Yeah.
So obviously the better water you put in here, this isn't a filter, but the better water you're going to get out. But it enhances the water. So if you put in normal tap water, is going to come in lower pH. This will raise that, make the water alkaline, and then taste crispier. So think of like spring water.
Yeah. And
so that diffuser is removable and at the bottom of every bottle. And so we had extra diffusers in the Costco bundle.
Yeah.
And we were close. I think we'll get it. It'll just.
So how often can you go back to Costco and take a swing at it?
I don't know. My understanding with Costco and this B2B retail space is new to me.
Yeah.
But it was, we gave them kind of our best offer. We were close. They didn't like it. And Costco's not hey, let's just keep going back and forth over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have a shot maybe once or twice a year to kind of keep the relationship going. But the next time we really get the shot to pitch and put the bundle in front of them, it's got to be better than what we did.
Yeah.
And so I think you've got a shot, and if you miss the shot, make it better and go back next time.
Because it's pretty pleasant working with them, right?
Yeah.
It's not high pressure.
No, it was great. And it was kind of happening as I was coming into the company. But yeah, I didn't feel like it was pressure. It was this is what we need. This is what we want. Show us what you can do. And if we like it, we'll take it. And if not, no problem. We'll communicate down the road.
So would you guys as a company, would you rather be retail or would you rather be like online, people just buying it straight online?
I think that's an interesting question with e-com right now, because with iOS 14 and just overall changes with supply chain and the online advertising world and costs overall increasing on average, I think the sexy thing is always you want to go straight to the consumer.
Yeah.
You know, your margins are generally going to be higher. You're going to be able to control that entire process. But I think what we're seeing, and I think other brands that we're talking to, is the more retail footprint that you have, the stronger you're going to be as a company.
Yeah.
As we're looking at raising money right now, people really want to see what does our repeat retail purchase look like, what do our relationships there look like, and how are they?
Yeah.
And the more solid those are, I think that's more what people want to see at this point.
Cool. Yeah.
And that goes both ways. You know, obviously you want to crush it on the e-com side. And I think that will always be the majority of our business.
Yeah.
But I think having a solid retail foundation is helpful.
If you get in with some of these retailers, do they try and control your e-com?
Some of them. So more and more so retailers are having an online side, right? So you're going to have like CVS, Rite Aid, Dick's, all these stores, they have an online store. And so oftentimes with us, we can get on their online side faster than we can get on their retail side.
Okay.
So they'll come in and have us do a test and say, all right, we'll put you online. We'll see how you do online. If you move okay, then we'll get you to the buyer that will put you on the shelves.
Do they fulfill for you, or are they just selling? You got to drop ship it all?
Depends. So sometimes they just sell, sometimes they drop ship, sometimes they have their own fulfillment centers, so we'll send them to the fulfillment center. So it just kind of depends on the retailer.
So you're just playing ball in whatever stadium you go to, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you're negotiating, like that's a role we're looking to fill right now inside of the company that we haven't had, is who can manage all of those relationships, do the sales, but also they're just getting different. Like we're having to get set up on these people's platform, and everybody uses different back-end systems, and it actually, I think, is complicated now and going to get more and more complicated.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a space where we see some disruption over the next 5 years, because everybody's has an online component that didn't used to.
Yeah. Are you guys playing in Amazon?
Yeah, so Amazon is a big one for us.
Is it good?
It is good. So we do well on Amazon, and that's another player you got to play ball with, because the Amazon stadium's pretty big.
Yeah.
And they're a lot bigger than all the other people. So, for example, if we want to get on a retailer, we got to make sure that our Amazon price is competitive, because if we go to a retailer and we want to do well on their online side, we can't just slash the price, give them a good discount, because then Amazon will get frustrated. Well, you're now sending the traffic to X retailer, cannibalizing the Amazon side. So there's a lot of variables that come in.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that Amazon will even make people on their e-commerce, make them be the fulfillment center.
They do, yeah. So we have replenished orders that go into Amazon, and then they take care of it from there. So we got to make sure Amazon is always replenished.
Yeah.
Our inventory guy is always making sure, because if Amazon runs out, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it hurts your rankings big time, right?
Yeah, hurts your rankings on there. Like Prime Day is today. So Prime Day on Amazon is going on, big day on Amazon. And I was looking at some brands who are completely out of stock on their website, but Amazon is full stock, which means that they're just playing the Amazon game. They've made sure that Amazon's fully replenished. They'll take the hit on their own personal e-com stores to make sure that Amazon keeps running.
Will Amazon allow you to sell if they don't have the product in their fulfillment center?
I don't think so, but I'm not.
Because they got to have it on hand, right?
Yeah.
Or you go dark.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
That is my understanding.
Yeah. It's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty good at it.
Especially, some of these cities, they get same-day delivery, right?
Yeah,
so they're not going to sell a same-day delivery and not have it.
I mean, I think Amazon's going to continue to control that space. They do really well on it, so I think.
Yeah, I like their stock.
Yeah.
For the long term.
Playing ball and being in the Amazon stadium is a good place to be.
Yeah. It's funny, with all the businesses that I own or I'm part owner in, we don't sell anything on Amazon.
Really?
Mm-mm. So some of our competitors have gone on there and just put all the crap on there, and like in the whiteboard world, right? You know? Like it's funny, there's probably 15 different stores, and inside those stores, they're all coming from 2 manufacturers, right?
Yeah.
And they're just beating each other up on price, and and we just look at it just like, this is so stupid. In our world, the whiteboard world, where you make the money is being turnkey. So someone calls up and says, hey, I want a 16-foot whiteboard, come and put it in my building.
Yeah.
And we go, here's your price, we'll come and install it in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Right? Because 16-footer weighs like 275 pounds.
Yeah.
So they can't have, the secretary go and throw it up on the wall. And so, but Amazon, it's just, we have just not played in that space at all. I want to. I actually want to buy a business that is doing it. or get involved at some level.
I got one you can get involved in.
I'm hearing that from you. Yeah, we'll have to talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it depends. I think it has plays. Like one thing we're focusing on is building the brand of DYLN around healthy hydration.
Yeah.
And I think the better you can build a brand or add value that Amazon doesn't provide, right?
Yeah.
So like the whiteboard piece, being able to be turnkey, go and put it on. Amazon at least now doesn't have that, right? And then I think the bigger you can build a brand outside of Amazon, depending on your business model, like that is helpful, because then you're not as controlled. But if I know this product will sell, I know I can get it from China at this price versus this manufacturer this, I know I can move it, great. Amazon's a great model, So I think it just depends on what is your business model and how does Amazon fit into it? Because you can build a whole model purely off of the logistics and beauties of Amazon.
Oh, absolutely. And there's tons. Right, tons and tons. Supplements seem to be a big one.
Yeah.
Most people are just throwing their supplement in there, driving their traffic to there and just going. What about the influencer market? You using that at all?
A little bit. That is a big push for us going into the rest of this year and next year. I think we've done a subpar job at really leveraging influencers to push DYLN. Because when you look at it, those of you that were watching the video, like I think the bottle is very well made and better than maybe our competitors of a Yeti or Hydro Flask, but it doesn't look that much different.
Yeah.
Like if you guys saw me drink this, you never know that there's a diffuser inside. Unless you feel it, you don't really feel the quality. And so I think we need to leverage influencers to tell that story a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's big. Probably top 2 marketing things for us going into the next phase.
Yeah. So how much fun are you having?
I love my life, man. I'm having a ton of fun. It's stressful still. I joke with my wife. My Mondays are always stressful.
Yeah.
I have my Monday energy and my Thursday energy, and she likes my Thursday energy a lot better than my Monday energy. Man, but I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I think I've had this saying that at some point I'll launch a podcast and a show and my life slows down, but it'll be the Live Empowered show. And I just think that all of us have our own journeys, and it's our jobs to truly live empowered.
Yeah.
To decide what that is for us. And that's the beauty of the world in today, right? Like, again, to my arbitrary timelines, but 150 years ago, like if your grandpa was a doctor or a farmer or a lawyer, like chances are you were probably just going to follow in that footsteps, Yeah. But with social media, the digital world, traveling, the way the world is becoming smaller, like we can create whatever we want. And there's so many ways to make money, to create financial freedom, to do what you want, to find what you want. And I'm finding that, and I think that the struggles make you stronger and have more fun. Yeah. And so, man, I'm loving it. I feel like I'm truly living empowered, living my dream, and it's fun.
No, it looks like it. You're doing a good job.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely doing a good job.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
All right, cool. So to end this podcast, you got to give me your best 2 minutes of advice if you're talking to your kids. Best 2 minutes.
All right. Find what you love. And go through the hard things that are going to help you find it, because it's probably going to find you by going through those hard times. But don't stop and keep going and really find yourself. I think that downsides and cons to the world we live in, I just said all the pros, but people want to influence you. People want to have a lot of influence. And so it's really easy to become lost in the sexiness of what we see on social media and what other people are doing. And I think the people that are truly living empowered are the people that find themselves and go after those things. And so I think for my kids and anybody, find what you love, find what you really want to get out of life, define it, and then do the things that go get it, and don't let other people sway you in it. Because once you understand what you want, then you can start finding those lines to get there and make it efficient. And those are the people that I see are happy. The ones that didn't get swayed by other people, don't try to pretend for other people, don't try to do it all for the look. So find yourself, do that first. I think back to our college things is if you don't go to college and you go travel the world for 2 years, you might get a hell of a lot more out of that than sitting in a classroom. So find yourself, find what you want, and then go after it. That's my advice.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on my little tiny podcast.
I love it, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the President McCormack Podcast, brought to you by McCormack Foundation, Saxton Fund, ADP Lemco, and Professional Floor Systems. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and keep up with Mark on Instagram @President McCormack.